For the past 10 years or so, Breville has effectively owned the integrated grinder, semi-automatic home espresso machine market. And quite frankly, I'm a little bit tired of it. There is no other brand that I have been accused of being paid off by more than them, which isn't remotely true, in case that wasn't clear. But the only reason it comes off that way is that Breville has simply been the definitive choice for integrated grinder home espresso at a variety of price points. No other brands have really given them very much competition in that highly sought after form factor. Until now. If you're looking for an entry-level espresso system, the Ninja Luxe Cafe is a model that you should be considering. Whether it's the one you end up going with will depend on your drink preferences and a few other factors that we'll cover in this video. By the end, you'll know whether this is the machine that you've been looking for, and if not, what you should go with instead. Before we start, I just want to say that this machine was sent to me for review. However, as always, that will have no impact on the contents or opinions expressed in this video. If you do want to check your own local pricing on the Ninja Luxe Cafe, I will have it linked down in the description below. Starting off with the build quality and design, the Ninja has a unique aesthetic that almost looks as though they just squished together popular models from competitors Breville and Delonghi. With both gloss black and brushed finishes, it isn't leaning as hard into the fake heritage look as Delonghi, but it also isn't quite as sleek and modern as the Brevilles, in my opinion. Aesthetics are always subjective, so I will let you decide whether this is a good looking appliance, but what isn't up for debate is that this is a physically big machine. If you are particularly tight on counter space, this might rule it out right off the bat. In terms of build quality, the Ninja doesn't feel cheaply made despite its more budget price point. Ninja knows what they're doing in terms of creating durable but inexpensive products. With that being said, it does feel cheaper to interact with than the all-in-one Breville machines, and I'd say it's probably tied with Delonghi in terms of material choice and feel. This shouldn't come as a huge surprise given the long list of features you're getting at a very competitive price. The cost savings need to come from somewhere, and bang for your buck was clearly at the top of the engineering brief on the Luxe Cafe. As someone who's owned and used a lot of espresso machines, living with the Ninja took some getting used to. The Luxe Cafe is a little different in how you select drinks and interact with it, but it also has some features that show Ninja's experience in the home appliance space, such as an integrated door to store filter baskets and a little cleaning brush. On the interface, you first select what type of drink you want to make, which will then tell you which of the two baskets to use, a more classic espresso size or the slightly ridiculous Luxe basket. After that, you install the dosing funnel, grind and tamp your coffee with the funnel still installed, lock in the portafilter, and hit brew. This whole workflow is almost completely foolproof, and maybe more importantly, completely mess-proof. You aren't going to have coffee grounds all over your kitchen because they're always contained within the grinder, dosing funnel, and portafilter, thanks to the slightly weird but very consistent included palm tamper. Overall, this workflow is aimed at reducing error, mess, and some of the inevitable frustrations that come along with being a first-time espresso machine user, and it does a very good job at this. Yes, it feels a little bit clunky to someone like me, who's very familiar with the espresso making process, but for newer owners, I think that these choices will lead to a lot less machines being returned and better quality drinks right from the start. This is not only a decision reflected in the workflow, but also in the coffee brewing and milk steaming, which we'll dive into in the next sections of this review. A couple more things I would like to point out about the user experience are the cup clearance, hopper, water reservoir, and the beeping. After almost every step in the process, the Luxe Cafe lets out a loud, high-pitched beep. This can be quite annoying, and I don't fully understand why it's even there in the first place. Luckily, these beeps can be disabled in the machine settings. In terms of cup clearance, there isn't any machine on the market that offers the flexibility of the Luxe Cafe. Whether you're brewing into a shot glass, a coffee mug, or even a full-size thermos, the combination of brewing platform and removable drip tray section means you'll be able to fit anything you like beneath the spouts, which is very unconventional for an espresso machine. The bean hopper on the Luxe Cafe is also worth noting because of how well sealed it is and how well the locking and unlocking mechanism works, allowing you to stop the flow of beans and remove the hopper if you want to switch coffees or even just clean inside the burrs. Finally, a great feature that is rarely seen on machines in this price range is a low water indicator. There is nothing more frustrating than having your espresso machine run out of water mid-shot or just before pulling a shot with a fully prepped puck. I'm impressed this is a feature that Ninja thought to add on their first ever espresso machine, and once again just really shows their experience in the home appliance space. Moving on to coffee quality, I'm going to divide this into two sections: espresso and other drinks such as the full-size filter coffee and cold brew. Regardless of what type of drink you're making, the Luxe Cafe is going to give you a grind suggestion, which is a big trend we're starting to see on home machines and a big help to first-time users. Not to mention, this is one of the best implementations of the system at any price point that I have seen so far, even compared to machines costing 5 times as much as the Ninja. The suggestions are accurate, and they're going to result in drinkable shots within 2 to 3 attempts straight out of the box. But you can of course choose to dial into your own taste by going slightly coarser or finer, and even adjusting the temperature to suit the coffee being used. The resulting espresso quality is good. If you're looking for simple, classic, rich and textured espresso, this grinder and machine combination can certainly deliver that. Is it a machine I'm going to want to challenge with very lightly roasted specialty coffees? No. But if you want espresso shots to go into your milk drinks, or that taste nice and balanced on their own with medium to darker roasts, the Luxe Cafe can certainly deliver that. Where I was less impressed was with the other more full-sized and cold drink brewing options. These drinks that use the comically large Lux basket simply fell short for me in terms of extraction quality and final taste in the cup. They were often under-extracted and very watery, similar to a Keurig or other pod system. This leads me to suggest that you'd be better off making an Americano if a full-sized cup of coffee is what you're after, and pulling an espresso shot over ice and then diluting it if you want cold coffee. Both very viable options, but it does really render one half of the drink options on the menu a little bit obsolete. So we know that the Luxe Cafe really performs better at espresso rather than filter style coffee, but how does it do with milk drinks? Again, it impressed in some areas, but was slightly disappointing in others. When it comes to integrating air into the milk or creating foam, the Luxe Cafe uses a pretty unorthodox method of both a steam arm and a spinning whisk at the bottom of the milk pitcher. This does a good job of creating various levels of foam depending on your drink and milk type selection, but the foam is not quite well integrated enough to really explore pouring latte art designs past a very basic blob or heart shape. Luckily, you can steam manually on the Luxe Cafe, and then you're only limited by your own skill and technique. If you don't care about latte art and just want frothy milk, then you can completely ignore this, and just know that it does a good enough job. The other benefit of that whisk system is that it can make cold foam by only using the whisk and not the steam arm. This is a genuinely neat feature that I haven't seen before, and is something to consider if you plan on making a lot of iced drinks in the summer that would benefit from a cold foam topper. So, with all of that information, should you buy the Ninja Luxe Cafe, or should you buy something else? If you are looking for an all-in-one home espresso machine to make simple espresso, lattes, and cappuccinos, then I think you are better off with the Ninja than equivalently priced Brevilles. Full stop. The ease of ownership, ease of dialing in, and drink quality all hold their own or even exceed that of the lower-end Breville machines, such as the Barista Express and Barista Express Impress. Not to mention, even those lower-end Brevilles are still much more expensive than the Luxe Cafe. However, if you want to explore the world of specialty coffee, or you want latte art quality automatic milk steaming, then you probably want to look elsewhere and potentially spend a bit more money. The grinder on the Luxe Cafe is really targeted at medium to darker roasts, so if you want to dabble into the lighter, more acidic and fruity coffees, then getting a separate grinder and a small machine such as the Breville Bambino or Gaggia Classic Pro will probably be a better option. If you are primarily a latte drinker and want great automatic milk steaming so you don't have to learn yourself, then you might have to spend a bit more for the Breville Bambino Plus, as that is the cheapest machine we've tried with passable automatic milk steaming. If you have significantly more budget, getting into one of the Brevilles with their newest Milk IQ systems, such as the Touch and Press, will get you the best possible automatic steaming currently available, and also a nicer grinder to boot. But we are talking much more expensive here. So again, do not get sucked into the upgrade-itis. If you are just looking for a basic espresso and latte machine, the new Ninja Luxe Cafe is a great option and an incredible deal at its current MSRP. Again, I will have all of those machines I just mentioned linked down in the description below, so you can check your own local pricing. So there you have it. While the Ninja does have some quirks, such as that whole Lux basket idea and the milk texturing using a whisk, it is going to serve 90% of people shopping for their first machine very, very well. And the dialing in and tamping help will avoid a whole lot of frustration for those same people. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and even consider subscribing if you want to see some more like it in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.